Well, the ST is still waiting to go to the body shop, so I'm going to have a go at the roof panel. Now, I think I'm going to end up wet flatting it because there's quite a lot of imperfections and etching in the paint, as you can see. You can see the marring from where I've clay clothed it. That's why it looks like that. You know, if you're clay clothing or clay barring, you're always going to mar the paint. Basically, you're rubbing the dirt that you're getting out, and this is what you end up with. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a go at some wall cutting and see how much of this it levels, and it'll tell me whether I need to wet flat it. So I'm going to get the polisher out and have a go. I might as well while I'm waiting for them to take it away. It's got to be done anyway at some point, so I think I'll have a go and we'll see what it looks like a little bit later. I ought to put a light on it really and show you. I'll get a light and have another look. There you go, you can see the sort of finish it's got after the clay cloth. So I'm going to get the polisher out and have a go and we'll see what it looks like in a bit. Right, I've got the 9-inch mop out. Believe it or not, this is the finer of the bunch. I've got 3 of them. The coarse one I always find a bit too coarse, so I'm going to use the fine, and I'm going to use Men's 400 heavy cut and get it on the roof, see what it looks like. It won't be to a finish obviously, but we'll see what it cuts out. I'll see you in a bit. Well, I would say it definitely got to be flatted, so there's no point in carrying on with the polisher. I might as well start flatting it. So I'll get me tools out and do that. So let's get on. Well, I've spent most of the day flatting the roof down with 2000 grit. I never quoted for painting the roof, and I didn't want to paint the roof because if we're going to go that far we'd end up painting the whole car. So what I've done is try to remove all the imperfections from the sap that's etched in to the lacquer, and all the stone chips I've now touched in. So you can see spots all over the roof where I've touched them in. Plenty the other side. There was about 5 or 6 really deep scratches on the other side of the roof that I've managed to flat out. Now tomorrow I'm going to let these touch-ups go off, and then I'm going to flat the roof again. I'm going to quickly go over it again with 2000, and then 2500, and then 3000. If for any reason it breaks through, I'll have to have the roof painted, but I'm trying to save it. You know, I don't want to have it painted. But to be fair, I mean, like, by the time I flatted this, it'll be prepared for painting, but that ain't the point. There's more to go wrong the more you paint. So we'll see how we get on tomorrow, flatting all the touch-ins, and then start refining it ready for a finish and see what happens. So there we are, that's today's bit of work. You can see there's touch-ins all over, plenty of them, some bigger than others, but we'll get them all flatted down and see what we could do. Right then, I'll see you on the next one. Hello, good morning. Right, as you've seen previously, all these little touch-ins over the bonnet that I've done have all got to be knocked down. Just started this corner, and you can see I've been flatting this. There's the remnants of the one. These have got to be taken down a bit more. I've just wiped off to have a look. A bit more, and there's 3 or 4 of them. Some of them have gone down quite well, but they're coming on. So what I'm going to do is go over all the touchings. I'm going over now with 2000 grit, and then I'll go over the whole roof again with 2500, and followed up by 3000 grit, which will leave it in a nice condition to polish. So looks like I'm going to be flatting for the whole day today, so I better get on with it. So I'll show you a little bit later. See you then. Right, I've just finished the 3rd stage of flatting. I've done 2 stages by hand, and the last stage with 3000 grit and a D8 sander. There are still a few blemishes in the paintwork, but the majority of the stone chips, or the larger stone chips, are now invisible. And this is ready to start polishing. And I have to say, it looks a million times better in a flatted state than it did when it arrived. So that'll be the next bit. Get a bit of polish on it, see what it looks like. You can see the lights are clear, even in the flatting marks. Right then, I'm going to crack on. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, it's Ted from The Devil's in the Detail. Now, I'm encountering something really strange, so I thought I'd take this opportunity to share it with you. As you know, I've been working on the roof of the Focus ST. This side, I've already explained, has had 3 stages of flatting now, and to be honest, I've polished an area just to see how it's going to look, and as it happens, I'm not that happy with it. And I was thinking, can I flat it, more, to get some of these marks that have etched through into the look like they've gone through the lacquer, to be honest. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to climb up on this stool and turn the camera round so that you can actually see the paintwork instead of having to look at me, because I know that must upset some of you. And I'm going to show you what I'm finding with the paint measurements. Firstly, I'll show you the area that I've polished. Well, it's only had a polish. I've just started cutting it, but I'm going to turn the camera around now so that you can actually see the roof. Right, now, as you can see, I've started the cutting on the roof, and we've still got bad etching marks. If you can see that there, and they really do look like they go deep, but also there's lots of other marks that have gone through deep into the lacquer, and you can see these sap marks that really have not all come out. They just look like spots all over, and these are not where they've been touched in. This is actually marks in the paint. I'm sure you could see, and although, looking from the side it looks very, very glossy, but this isn't really how I want it to be finished. So I've got the paint meter out, and I thought I'll just measure and see what we're down to. if I just put it on this pillar here that's not been polished, that's quite an eye reading for paint. Put it on the roof and it's measuring, you know, at least between 150 and 160 something microns. You can see still quite high readings for paint. So I thought, you know, let's measure across the roof. Now, the other side of the roof I haven't polished yet, although it still had the same amount of flatting. And it hasn't been flatted any more or any less than this side. And when I put the paint meter on to check, I start getting these different readings, which are already lower, as you can see. If I get the reflection off for you, you can see they vary quite dramatically. Now, why would I have less readings on the one side of the the roof, that I'm getting on the side that I've done the same amount of flatting on and polished? And as you can see, it's higher this side than it is the other side, which means that if I wanted to wet flat this roof again to try and get these marks out, which obviously they are very deep, once I got to that side, I'll be breaking through anyway. So in the grand scheme of things, it looks like I'm going to have the roof painted. Now, we can do it, or it can be done without removing the windscreen. It will mean that the masking will have to be delicately placed between the rubber here. See, if you look down there, there's a rubber seal that goes round the top of the windscreen. So we'll need to warm that with a heat gun so that it can be folded slightly to be able to mask down in there. Either that or the windscreen's got to come out, and that is something I didn't want to do. And I didn't really want to have to paint the roof, but to get it anywhere near satisfactory, I think it's going to have to be. You know, it's just not going to be good enough for me to say I can get away with it, because the marks on the other side, which some of them look even deeper, you know, I thought most of these would have come out with the flatting I've already done. And to be fair, quite a few have. But now I'm at the point where, do I keep flatting this etching here that you can see? This looks like it goes all the way through to the colour, which is underneath the clear coat. So I think it's going to have to be painted. It is unfortunate and it does add to the cost, but ultimately the aim is to get this car as good as possible, and I don't feel right leaving the roof when I expect the rest of it, you know, I mean, like you could see by the state of the bonnet here, that you know, basically the etching on the roof is, well, started life like that, but this actually, you can tell it's gone through, and there. And so that's why we're having that painted. So I think ultimately the roof will have to be painted as well, although I could get it to look really glossy from standing, you know, if you're just standing looking at the car from the side, it'll look glossy, but the minute you look, you're going to see all these horrible marks. So I think I'm going to have to admit defeat and paint it. Well, I won't be painting it, the body shop will, but that was a lot of work to find out that it's not accomplished what I wanted to. And sometimes you just have to admit that you're not going to be able to correct it. We are fortunate enough to be painting the side of the car and the bonnet anyway. And to be fair, you know, I just have to have a more flatting, which, I mean, I can have a go at flatting it and see how far it will go, but I'm pretty sure it will break through. So what I'm going to do, just experimental, this has got to be flatted out anyway. So I'm going to try and flat it and see if it does break through. I mean, it's got to be painted anyway, but all the work I've spent doing the touch-ups and that is a bit of a waste of time. But like I say, sometimes you've got to try instead of just admitting defeat. And it's, you know, it's easy to say to somebody, oh, I can't do nothing with that. It's got to be painted, but you know, it's at what level, you know, do you want your car? And we're trying to get this car as good as new, so I'm just going to have it done, I'm afraid. But, you know, I've spent quite a lot of time doing this preparation to this point, which really was a waste of time. But it's done, and now it's going to have to be painted. Right, I'm going to consult the body shop now. I'm going to get the lads round and see what they think. You know, see if they agree that I should try flattening it more or not, but I'm pretty sure they're going to come up with the same sort of decision that I have, that it needs painting. So I'll let you know what they say. I don't think they'll want me to film them, but you never know, I'll ask. See you in a bit. Well, I've just had Liam from the body shop round, and basically it's got to be flatted with 400 and feathered out because the etching has actually gone all the way through. So to paint the roof and get it smooth, it's going to be all have to be taken down. So they'll basically use 400 grit on a DA sander. So I'm going to have a look at taking the aerial lead out for them. I'm just trying to keep the cost down for my mate Robbo, whose car it is. So if I do more of the labour, it'll cost him less in the painting. So you know, I want to help him where I can. And as he will say, I still need to earn a living, but you don't need to earn out of it every single little job, you know what I mean? So while I'm waiting for them to make room to have it in, I can do these little bits. At least it keeps me busy. I've also got the 230 SL, which I'm waiting for the reply on the seal that they sent me is the wrong one. So I'm waiting for that. So I'll crack on and take the aerial out, and at least I'm doing something productive, because I can't do anything. It's all the chain reaction. I need the body shop finished so that I can take the seats out, the wheels off, and send both away to have them repaired, and then I can start detailing the car. But at the moment, you know, I'm at a little bit of a dead loss, because they're going to have to mask up all over the place. There's no point me, you know, polishing anything to a finish while they're still working on it. You know, because again, I'll be wasting my time, because I'll be putting effort in that's going to get marked. So, you know, how far do I go until the rest of it's done? I mean, you can see the reflection and the gloss off the first cut. You know, standing there, you can't see all these defects, but, you know, I don't want the side to be perfect, and I'm going to wet flat the other side and polish that. and the bonnet will be flatted and polished, and then have a roof that looks, you know, dodgy. So, you know, it's just one of them things, but we'll get it done. And then I can proceed in doing all the other stuff I need to do. It just slows me down a little bit. I mean, there's no rush for the car. The owner is, you know, he's away in France for 3 months anyway. And the car is going to go away when it's finished. So there's no rush for me to get it done. It's just the fact that I've got no other polishing booked in to do, else I could carry on with that while this is being done. But anyway, less of that, and obviously I'll follow the journey next week when they've made room to have it in the body shop, and I can do a bit of the videoing of what it goes through in there. So on that note, that'll be it for now, and I'll be back when there's something interesting to show you. So have a good weekend anyway, and I'll see you soon. Bye.